ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening? What's happening, guys? Happy Wednesday to you. It is Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. And this morning's show is about, the title is, I'll be happy when. I'm sure you guys have all heard people say, I'll be happy when, or they're looking to the future for some reason or something to change or something in the future to be better than what it is that they have. So if you've ever heard somebody say those words, recently you've probably heard a lot of people say, I'll be happy when this is all over, right? When this is all over and we can get back to normal, then I'll be happy. Or maybe you've heard somebody say in the past, man, I'll be happy when this house is paid off, or I'll be happy when I don't have this bill anymore, when my car's paid off, or something like that. What I want you to realize this morning is exactly what's happening when you hear other people say things like this around you, or even when you're saying these types of things yourself, right? Because I think we all have moments where we say these things ourselves when we're looking for something to give us something different than the present moment. But when you say things like that, I want you to understand that you or the people around you, you're not choosing to live in the present moment. And so we're going to talk about, how to live in the present moment and how not to give away that time that you have right now to be grateful and to be happy. And to just, in general, if you do those two things, if you're just grateful and genuinely happy, you're going to live a much better life. I'll be happy when it stops snowing in Chicago today. I could appreciate that one, Dave, but maybe you should just learn to go dance out in the snow, man. I think that's the idea. And good morning to you guys. Good morning, Sam, Dawn, Dave, Dayton, Janice, Darren, Trisha, Jeff, Holly. Good morning, guys. Thank you guys for jumping on here. And please, if you have a minute and you would be willing to do it for me, please share this out if you could. I want you guys to think about that for a minute, because I think we all have people in our lives that, that say that, I'll be happy when, or, I'll be better off when this happens, or man, if I could just get a new job, or if I could just get a new car, if I could live in this house, I wish my kids were younger again. And so all of those things are not really living in the present moment. They're not being thankful for the things that we have. They're wishing away that current moment for a different scenario. And so what we need to learn how to do is, first and foremost, is to be grateful, which we talk about on this show all the time, right? But when you are living in the present, you are only focused on what's going on in your life right now, right in this moment. It's a hard thing to do. And I'm going to explain to you some of what I've done, some of the studying that I've done on this exact topic. And it's something that I have to reteach myself quite frequently, even though I have done some research on it. And I think I understand it pretty well. But when you are living in the past or in the future, you're not in control of your thoughts, are you? Your thoughts are actually in control of you. Because when you're living in the future, you're not thinking about right now. You're thinking about what could be, right? And when you're living in the past, you are thinking about what has been, the things that have happened to you, the things that, maybe didn't go right that you keep revisiting. And so you're stealing away this moment that you have right now. These moments are passing us by right as we're sitting here, because your mind is focused on the wrong thing. I want you to think for 1 second on how hard it is to keep your mind focused on the present moment. And here's the test. I want you to today spend a couple of minutes just trying to focus on right now and watch where your thoughts go. Watch how your mind will drift off to places that you don't want it to go, to the future, to the things that might be coming up in your day, to the to-do list that you have. But when you are trying to focus on right now, you're going to start to see how your mind just naturally drifts off to all these other places. Recognizing the fact that your mind does that is a huge victory in itself, right? So when you start to realize where your mind drifts to, what exactly your mind is trying to drift off to, that is power in itself. It gives you the ability to recognize exactly how often you're not present. And when you recognize how often you're not present, that by itself allows you to spend more time in the present. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but if you really think about it, when you start to try and think about the present moment and only focused on right this minute. So what is going on? What can I be grateful for that I have right now, right in this moment? And your mind's going to start to drift to all kinds of different stuff. And when your mind starts to drift and you recognize that, think about that for a second. You are actually in that present moment because you're recognizing what's going on. But so much of our life is lived in a subconscious state. And we just drift off. We drift off to wherever, to the future, to the past. And when we do that, when we allow our mind to drift in those directions, remember this, guys, when you are living in the past or you are living in the future, you are living in fear of something that might happen, or you are living, in the past and you're depressed or you're upset about something that already happened. You're not in control of your mind. Your mind is in control of you. So think about this, guys. How often are you writing off your present for the future? Or even worse, you're writing it off because of something that happened in the past that's already done and over with. You can't control that. And so many people in the world are living in the past or in the future. They're not living in the present and being grateful for the life that they have because they are far too focused on the things that could happen in the future or have already happened in the past. And that is just no way to live. And unfortunately for our country, our world, this has become such a commonplace thing that it becomes normal for people to live like this. And so you won't feel anything uncomfortable about living this way if you don't actually take the time to think about how you are living. Are you allowing yourself to live in the present moment? Or are you doing exactly what we're talking about? And I would challenge you this morning to think about it this way. Do not live your life like the majority of the people out there that are constantly stuck in the past or are just hoping for a better future. Hope isn't going to get you there, guys. It's about living consciously right in this moment. Hope is a great thing. It's a great thing to have, but it is not going to change your life. Hope is what people do that don't have any right now. If right now you have good things in your life, be grateful. Live today. Live in this moment that you have right now, and you will be on your way to living a much more fulfilling life. And you will have a much healthier perspective of the world around you. And if you don't do that, if you are constantly living in the future or in the past, you will live just like everybody else. And you will think just like everybody else. And you will worry, and you will do all of these things that everybody does in the world. You will have the same symptoms as those people that you see around you. And I promise you this, guys, that will not bring you fulfillment. It will not bring you happiness. And by the way, this is not an easy thing to do. I'm not sitting here telling you that you can just work on this today, and that that by tomorrow it's going to be better. It's something that you have to constantly be doing. You have to constantly remind yourself of, because the world out there is going to knock you down. You're going to have those moments where you have all these feelings that we're talking about. It is your ability to get in the present, to think about what you're grateful for. I woke up this morning and my 2-year-old was in our bed, and man, I rolled over, and a lot of people might think to themselves like, oh man, he's in our bed again. I literally rolled over and saw him there, and I got like flooded with how grateful I am that God gave me that little boy, because every day that little boy rolls in here, every day since this whole thing started, every day he rolls in here with the biggest smile on his face, ready to sit on his dad's lap, give me a big hug. And the fact that I was gifted with that little boy, it is a gift that I can't even put into words for you. And when I woke up this morning and I looked at him, that's the feeling that I got. Man, how grateful. How could I ever think, man, I'll be happy when I'm blessed with all of these things around me? My children, my wife, my family, my friends, my business partners, my business colleagues. I'm blessed with so many things. How could I not be grateful? But if we don't consciously think about that, if we don't take the time to actually be grateful for the things that we have, we'll miss it all. And you will look back on your life with a lot of regret, right? Those people, when they are taking their last breath and they have regrets about what they didn't do, or what they didn't explore, what they didn't make the decision to go after in their life, I bet you a lot of those people said the words, "I'll be happy when." And the reality is, you will never fully be happy if those are the words that you're relying on, because the time to be happy is right now. Even amidst all this, right? Everything that we're going through, nobody's gone through this and maybe ever, but at least in over 100 years, right? And it's easy, guys. It's easy to take the scapegoat answer, reasoning, and say, well, all this is going on, so I'm allowed to feel this way, or I'm allowed to sit on the couch. I'm allowed to. Yeah, you are allowed. You're allowed to do anything you want. You got your own life. You got your own body. You got your own mind. You can think. You can do whatever you choose to do. But the reality is, you're going to look back years from now. I talked about this last night on our Top Contractor School Elite call. I was listening to Andy Frisella's podcast yesterday, and he said, how ridiculous is it that 2 years from now, you're going to hear people say, man, my life was great until that virus came along. Those are people that would say, I'll be happy when. Because the reality is, this virus is not doing anything to you. Whatever it is that's being done to you, you are doing to yourself, because you're not putting yourself in the right positions. You're saying, I'll be happy when. I'll get back to work when. I'll get back to my normal routine when. I'll do this when this happens. And what you are doing is stealing the present moment and the present day that you have to do something great for your life, for the people around you, for your business, for your family, for all that stuff. You're stealing away from that because you think somehow you're deserving of more in the future. I'll be happy when. You'll be happy when the things happen in the future as a result of what you did today. And if you don't do anything today, then you probably won't be happy when, because those things will never happen. Those things that you have the potential to do in the world, the people you have the potential to help, the lives you have the ability to impact, the changes you have the ability to make in your life, they will never happen if that is your mindset. But if you can live in the moment, you can take it all in, and you can make the very, very best of every single day, regardless of the circumstances that are dealt to you, you'll end up with a pretty good life. You'll end up with some pretty good friends, a pretty good family, if that's what you choose to have. you'll end up with a lot of great memories and a lot of accomplishments and a lot of things that you can be proud of. And so I leave you with this morning. If you catch yourself or people around you saying, "I'll be happy when," put a stop to that, man. Put a stop to that, and recognize when your mind is drifting off to things in the future or things in the past, and live in the moment, man, as long as you can, as often as you can. It's hard to do. It's hard to do. When you do that exercise today, I'm telling you, just take a couple minutes and try to stay right in the moment, and look how quickly your mind will go to somewhere else. And when your mind starts to go to somewhere else, keep track of where it's going, because where it's going is really your default emotion. It's the thing that you go to the most. It's that default place that you like to live. And when you like to live in a place of, concern, worry, negativity, whatever it is, you got to work to fix that. You got to work to rewire that situation in your mind so that your default emotion changes, right? It goes to excitement, to inspiration, to motivation, to all those things that are positive. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Marvin, what's happening, man? Ryan, good morning. Mark, good morning, brother. Good morning, man. So I hope you guys all have a great Wednesday. I hope this gave you some perspective this morning. That's the title of the show. Trisha, yep, your default emotion can be changed. It takes work, but 100% it can be changed. It takes, number one, being aware of what it is. Number two, it takes work, reading, studying, understanding yourself, understanding people, understanding what people are trying to do. People around you are always trying to manipulate you in some way, right? Whether that's positive or negative probably depends on the person. But the reality of life is that we interact with other human beings. And the more that you understand yourself, the more you can then understand others. And when you start to understand others, this whole thing that we're talking about gets a lot simpler. I promise you. So I appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. I'm grateful. Yesterday morning, I missed you guys because I was spending some time with my wife. That's it. I was sitting there with my wife, and I'm like, man, there are days where, there are weeks where we don't get to spend a whole lot of time together, and yesterday morning we were spending some time together, and I thought, man, I'm going to skip the show today because I wanted to live in that present moment with my wife. I wanted to just spend some time with her. These times that we're going through are crazy. So when you get some time to spend with the people that you care about, that you love, and that love you, take it. And that's what happened yesterday. So I apologize for missing you guys yesterday, but it was time well spent with my wife. So with that said, I'm wishing you guys an unbelievable Wednesday. It's the only April 15th, 2020 you're ever going to get. So make the very best of it. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.